about it, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And the difference kind of between psychology, not to dog on psychology, but the difference kind of between social work
it's
and
okay.
psychology
You can dog on it. I'm right here for it.
is with social work, you're really looking at the person in their environment.
Yes.
So what's going on around them that's influencing them? Everything from the community level to the family level to the state level to the federal level.
Yeah.
What are all those forces? And oftentimes our students who are coming into college, that 18-year-old who's like, I've always been the person that my friends come and talk to.
Yeah.
Or I've always been the person I just want to help. I want to make a difference.
Right.
And so the traditional helping professions like nursing and radiology, things along that line, sometimes students are like, I really like to be a nurse, but I don't like blood.
Right.
So
Or sick people.
sick people, right? So I think having this exposure to what social work does and the fact that we are literally, like you were mentioning, sometimes people run into us in places. I mean, we're in hospices.
You're
we're in
all over the
hospitals.
place.
Yeah, and some new areas that we're going into as well are libraries.
Yeah.
There's a brand new field called library social work.
Yeah.
There's police social workers who are trying to decriminalize social service needs.
Social work is being incorporated pretty much in everything that is interacting with people now. We're appreciating a lot more than they did 20 years ago. I think with the, I'll give you a quick example. For instance, and I think social work is relative to this. One of my favorite little side hobbies now, and when I was in the class at college, I didn't really appreciate it, but I'm into economics now. I really am into economics. I read a lot of Milton Friedman, guys like that. And you want to know something? When I was in college and I was coming up, I looked at economics and I was like, you know what? It's finance. I'm not in the mood for that. Even though my major required me to have math and science, that wasn't necessarily my forte. Many years later, as I just kind of came upon it because I liked writing, I liked the certain books that I was reading, the politics of it all. And I ended up talking with an individual who's actually a college professor, and I was just like, I just figured out. And he's like, what? Economics is a social science. It's not a financial necessarily discipline. It's understanding about human beings and their interaction with money and resources and how they behave accordingly. That's sociology. Social work. All of it is relative, and I think that the more educated we get, the more a case can be made that when you talk about social work and to really get out here and be an agent of it is a very natural thing for a lot of people. Because I like the analogy you gave is that even within a lot of kids' peer groups, they find themselves to be the one that people lean on.
Yeah,
a lot of family members. I just came from a funeral for my family, and we were talking about my aunt who passed away. And my mom, this is my mom's younger sister. My mom passed, but my aunt who passed away, even though she was one of the younger sisters, was the bedrock where a lot of them went to. Yeah. That's social work. Yeah. And so I think people who have a natural aptitude towards those things, it hasn't always been put out there that there is a profession, there is a discipline that you can get into. It's just kind of like, we kind of avoid it. But I'm so glad that you all are out here on the forefront kind of putting it out there like this is what it looks like and this is how you can get trained in this area.
Absolutely. And our condolences to you as well.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes.
Very sorry.
Yeah.
And so just to move forward with that is that our classes, especially at the BSW level and at the MSW level, take that desire to want to help people, and then we teach you how to do it in such a way that you can also then not only you're touching that individual's life, but maybe you're working in policy, or maybe you're working in a school system, or maybe you're working in some way, shape, or form that you're impacting communities.
Right.
And the really neat thing that we've seen with our graduates is we do require practicums, which are internships, but essentially they go out into the community, they're working with these agencies, and then they stay.
Yeah.
They really stay in our community, and then they become leaders in the community. We actually have one of our graduating classes, one of our MSW classes, that every single one of them is a field instructor.
Well,
so what
makes sense,
our language, what that means is they are supervising our students in their practicums, in their internships, wanting to give back to the program, wanting to give back to the profession.
Now let me ask both of you ladies, I want both of you all to weigh in on this. Because as you were just talking, you're right that we're starting to see it incorporated. You're hearing police departments decide, that they want to incorporate social work. The obvious suspects that are now talking about social work. But you're also kind of seeing it in corporations. You go to Silicon Valley, and a couple of years ago, they kind of made a very bold move that I think a lot of other Fortune 500 businesses decide to do, is that if I go out here and invest in the maintenance of my employees at this level, I make them comfortable, I find out things are going on in their family, I direct them towards resources, I'm going to save myself a ton of money later on because they're going to come to work, they're not going to be absent, we'll still get the same level of productivity. And so now social work is being talked about in the front room. As two ladies that operate in academia, have you seen that start to happen? Is it still moving forward with that?
Oh, absolutely. Mental health and addictions has taken a front in a lot of things that we're doing.
Yeah.
Many of our students are coming in with those experiences. Either they having a mental health issues or family members.
Yes.
And so that's an area that they want to focus in and practice in. And many of the sites that we have for our internships focus on that piece as well.
Yeah.
So it is front and center. EAPs
Yes.
are hire our social workers as well. So you have individuals in the corporate world who are concerned about mental health. The mental health movement that's currently going on right now is really good for social workers because it is training our social workers to address those issues and to work within the community that they're in as well as the outside community as well.
And I want to go to you, Dr. Hibbert, to your point, because what I've also seen is as you see more and more people wanting to employ and incorporate it, they still want the licensed social worker person to come in. They're not just getting a guy who's great to talk to and things like that. They love people to have certifications to kind of legitimize what it is that they're doing. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so another area that we're really up and coming in as well that a lot of people don't know about because of that licensure, because of the training that we have, is actually sports teams.
Oh, sports psychology, of course. Yes.
And so there's actually a whole new movement towards it's not just the sports psychology, but working with the entire individual. And the team to help promote wellness and that mental health wellness as well as that physical body wellness.
It really does make sense when we're being more conscious about our health. And I think, thank goodness in the past 20 years that we are learning to take more care of ourselves. And it's not just obviously eating better, exercising, but now we're really talking about our mentality and the environment. It's not just our own personal mentality to the psychology part, but also creating our environment around us and understanding how to navigate and interact. And I think that's where the social work aspect comes in. And then just let's be honest, one thing that you all do that's very good, and it affects people at all levels, whether you're in a certain tax bracket, sooner or later you're going to need to be connected to resources. I had to deal with that with my mom, who was going through some geriatric type of thing, all the way down to children, where you're trying to be connected to resources. And that is what you all have been known for, kind of being able to navigate that space.
And one of the things I want to say, too, when you talk about licensure, I this past Saturday did a licensure workshop.
Nice.
We at the university do licensure workshops for our bachelor level students as well as our master level students because bachelor level students can graduate and take the licensure exam, be a licensed bachelor social worker, or master level students can graduate and become a licensed social worker. And then after 2 years of experience, they become a licensed clinical social worker. So I facilitate those trainings at least once a semester for our students to come in and do that. Our entire social work team are licensed. We're licensed clinical social workers or we're licensed social workers. We also focus on the mental health of our students. So if something's going on with our students, we reach out to them. We make sure that they get counseling services they need in-house on the campus through our Office of Counseling Services, or we send them outside. So we as a social work department, we walk the walk and talk the talk. Because the whole idea of, in order to get through it, you have to be in your right mind to do it, right? You have to have the right support in order for it to do it, to help somebody. And so we reach out. If a student reaches out to us, we reach out to them. And even if they don't reach out, we'll say, hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
Right, come sit with us. Come talk to us. Help us to know so we can navigate whatever these waters are right now, and we can make you whole.
Let me tell you, you two ladies, you obviously you can tell you got me all ginned up over here. But as somebody, and I'm sure you appreciate this too, that kind of came through and was hanging out on the psychology side of campus. The one thing that the psychology departments always let you know is that if you got your master's, you end up getting a clinical psychology, child psychology, all these little things are out here. Now we're starting to look at that as social work. And even though those two disciplines are obviously been around, I don't know which one came first, but it seemed like they've both been around forever. We're now starting to look at social work like that. And it does seem as if students are saying, I can go out here and take my social work to my own level, open up my own shingle, and I can go out here and contract with agencies, businesses, or maybe I can do my own one-on-one work depending on what my market is. But are we starting to see that happen now with social work?
Yeah, 100%. So if you get your master's in social work, you can move on, as Dr. Harris was saying, in right after graduation with that MSW, you can get your LSW.
Oh, yeah.
Insurance companies like LSWs.
Oh, they love LSWs.
They like LCSWs even more. So
clinical social worker. Okay.
Yeah. So that's somebody who has their master's and that 2 years postmaster's experience. The really neat thing is that when you are in school with us, when you're working on your master's, if that's the route that you want to take, we connect you with agencies where you're going to get the skills that allow you to work on not only on those clinical skills, seeing people individually, but if you are somebody who's thinking about, hey, I maybe want to start my own business, we've set it up where we ask for the field instructor and to contact the CEO and say, hey, can our student shadow you?
Yeah.
And that has been amazing. I had a student that I was a former field coordinator, so I placed students.
Right.
I reached out to a CEO and I said, hey, I have this student. She really wants to do the clinical piece, but you are an amazing person and you have so many different things going on. And she invited that student to follow her. She goes, hey, I have a meeting with the governor tomorrow. Do you want to come down to Indianapolis with me? And the student was like, okay.
Yeah.
Totally changed the trajectory of the student's life.
I believe so, yeah.
She was like, I thought I was going to go the clinical route. I was going to open up my own private practice. Now I see all the work that she is doing to help youth in the state of Indiana, and that's the route I want to take.
I like that story. And so I guess I want to ask both of you ladies, I want you, I mean, I'm not saying you took it off, but put your college administrator hat on, and I'm coming to you now because, once again, I'm so glad you are here. I know you can probably not tell, but I'm ginned up a little bit. But for those people that are looking at social work have always kind of been sniffing around it, as I like to say, but didn't really want to go in it and didn't understand. I want to talk to you. Let's pretend I'm in your office. And the one thing that, I always used to give an analogy about when I was talking about the rising cost of college, and I use Stanford as an example, a university that's around $96,000 a year undergrad or something to that effect. And you go out here and you get a sociology, social work degree there. Is the cost benefit? If I'm a student and I want to really have that talk with my academic professors, and I say, listen, I love this discipline. Okay, I've enjoyed my instructors. I learned a lot. It has got me feeling and thinking about things I didn't think before. I really do like this. But guess what? I also got to think about, once I graduate, is this going to be able to, number one, help me pay my student loans? Am I going to be able to go out here and afford to have a family in let's say 4 or 5 years of graduating? Will I be able to go and purchase a car? Am I going to have financial disciplines and then possibly financial regrets going out here majoring in this, while when I was on campus I had the opportunity maybe to go in a more lucrative area? What would you say to me?
Well, thank you for bringing that up, because one of the rumors is that social workers do not make money.
They don't make money.
And that's why a lot of people say they stay away from it. But that's not true. It depends on what area that you want to work in.
Fair enough, yes.
And so if you're a new student in my office, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what do you like to do? Who do you want to work with? Like, what is your area? Do you want to work with teenagers? Do you want to work with children? Do you want to work with geriatric? Where do you want to go? Because that determines where you're going to be employed and your passion, how you're going to do it. Geriatrics is a growing field.
Absolutely, so it is. I know this firsthand.
Yes, exactly. And I'm also dealing with some issues with my mom as well. Learning the social work field, being a geriatric social worker will bring in lots of money. It's very beneficial if that's where you want to go. Many people
it's appreciated.
And it's very much appreciated.
As a client, I absolutely loved my social work interaction. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And most people want to, not want to, but many people think that child welfare is where they need to stop at. And that's where you're not making money maybe, but that's not true, because we're connected to the Department of Children's Services.
Right.
We have a scholarship program where they'll pay their senior year. So the senior year of tuition and books are paid for.
Nice.
They train them to get ready to take a position upon graduation. They actually have a job with DCS in child welfare, making whatever the cost of living at that time.
Right.
So that's an area for you to go into as well. And so there are many benefits. Financially speaking, if you haven't received that first degree, we have plenty of financial aid programs. There are money. IUN has money that we can tap into.
You all are great with that.
That they can tap into as well, so we can help them them pay for that education, and then we can direct their paths as far as where they want to go for employment. Many of our bachelor level students, upon graduation, I would say at least 50% of them or more have a job offer by the time they graduate.
Oh, absolutely. I believe it. I want to get you to weigh in, Dr. Hippie. I want to kind of add to what you're saying, because as you know, as people are, whenever anybody I get the privilege of talking to kind of has those kind of conversations, not necessarily about social work, but when they're trying to figure out what to do, and they're basing things solely off potential income. And I want to use the word potential. It's really what you put into it and where you want to go. Because I'm not going to call any names, but I've known people that have gone to law school and are out here possibly making $42,000-$50,000 because, you know, they're not that person. They're not going out here, you know, with the big clients and things like that. They're just fixing traffic tickets and DUIs and things like that. And it's a living, you know. So you have to also decide, as you all are pointing out, I think so eloquently, about what your passion is, and then you run with it. And I think with anything, you'll find that you're going to get your rewards and you get what you put into it. So go ahead, Dr. Hippie, please.
Yeah, and I'm not a doctor yet. I'm working on it.
Okay, there you go. Soon to be. We speak things into existence on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I need that right now. So one of the things that I was going to say is also once you graduate with your BSW, you can make a good living.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many different positions out there, but a lot of people come back to get that MSW. Even people who aren't, you know, I've had students that were in radiology who have come back because they're like, you know what, I'm making a good living, but I want to do more with it. I want to get back to
That seems to be the
field.
degree, the MSW. I've always heard that. It does seem, you know, even when you're looking on things like LinkedIn and some of the, you know, Indeed and the job sites, MSWs always do kind of stand out because that's what people look for. And I never really understood what it was, but I got I had an idea what it meant. But now talking to you ladies, I get it now. Go ahead, please.
And so with that MSW, like I said, you can go into a hospital.
Yeah.
The other thing it helps prepare you for is you can also go into leadership.
Yeah.
You can start to advance
nonprofits,
your
all
career,
kinds of stuff.
start to run a nonprofit, start to run different agencies. And so a lot of our graduates that have actually taken that MSW, some of them do work the micro, social work, micro, meso, macro. Micro is the individual, meso is the community, macro is more policy level. They start out working and they're like, you know what, I see things that I want to change.
Right.
And so they start to work their way up into an organization. We also place students with the VA, with the Veterans Administration.
Right.
I've had a student there who I think I placed him in 2017, and he's still there. Yeah,
because you were doing God's work putting him there. There was a VA on the campus at Tuskegee. I can tell you, it's a hard place. You did some good work.
Yeah. And so, you know, they just find their passion, and then they just keep moving forward. And again, I think one of the cool things about social work is that you can do so many things with it, but it really comes down to helping people and making the world a better place.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Absolutely. And obviously I have not been on every college campus in this country of ours, but you know, just talking to you two ladies this morning, I appreciate more of what you all do, or the discipline, because I think you all are so able to articulate it. And then when you kind of referenced the wherewithal to bring, you know, he's our mayor now, but at one point in time, and he's a friend of mine, that's why I kind of know all his business, but you know, he was a state senator. And I do think in particular where young people are feeling now with our political climate, that you find out that social work is very relevant to policy. I think we're seeing that more now than ever. And so a person that has a very good background in training in social work can easily go on to work down in capitals of various states and be advocates, lobbyists, help put policy ideas and proposals together, because they're integral to that, because you get it and they can kind of integrate it into the population. So you're absolutely, you ladies are doing a great job of that. Go ahead, Doc.
So I have a master's of social work degree from IUN as well.
Okay.
And when I was a student there, I actually did my internship in DC.
So you get
on
it.
Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
And every spring I take a group of students to Indianapolis to the State House to meet with their legislators.
Yeah.
To talk about what's currently going on, what are some of the issues, which is how I got Senator Melton at the time to come to my class to talk. We were in Indianapolis. I was like, hey, would you like to come to my class and talk? He's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it exposes
You're a smart
students.
woman, aren't you?
I hope so. I hope so.
Go ahead.
I would say unequivocally yes.
But it helps the students to say, oh my God, I can reach out to my legislator.
Yes.
Oh, I can write a letter to them. They are personable. They come and talk to me. You know, they're interested in what I'm interested in. I want to change my community. I can have that conversation. And it's always awe-inspiring for me when I take the group to Indianapolis because many of them have never been to the State House. They don't understand what policy looks like. Policy in action. That's what we're doing when I travel with them. Yeah. We leave here at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we stay all day in Indianapolis to come back. Right. And I always tell my students, I don't care how you get on this bus. Yeah. But when you get off, you're going to be professional because I'm going to introduce you. You're going to learn. You're going to network with all these people that you've never had any experiences with. And they come back so excited about the trip, and they go and tell other students, look, you need to get to this trip.
I get ginned up when you kind of told that a little anecdote. I can see it because, listen, I mean, obviously you think political science and this is how I interact, but I could see taking a field trip with you two ladies and really kind of going and seeing policy discussions and seeing the spaces in which I can move. And I literally get back on that bus and I'd be like, you know what, I can do more damage here. I can do more work here by getting in social work. I can see it, how I can navigate a lot easier than just the general umbrella of political science. Not to knock my poli-sci people, but I get it now. I think you guys are great ambassadors of that. I know we're kind of pressed for time, so let's kind of bring it home and tell me about what's going on campus.
Well, can I say one more thing? We are making a lot of changes. Yeah. Our advanced standing program, we've shortened the credit hours. It went from 41 to 30. Oh. We are continuously...
Why did you shave out? How come they shaved off 11? I can't help but ask.
To break down barriers for our students and to allow more people to again, that cost factor, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. So we're continuously updating our programs. But one of the things I wanted to mention was I am not a graduate of IUN. And part of the reason for that was because the MSW program didn't exist. I'm dating myself totally. Yeah,
since it's okay. I've dated myself for this interview. I don't know how many times.
I had two options. Yeah. I had to either go to Chicago or I had to go to Indianapolis to get my MSW. So I ended up paying out-of-state tuition.
Oh, you went to Chicago.
I went to Chicago.
Where'd you go? I got to know.
The University of Illinois at Chicago.
Okay, I like USC. Yes.
So loved it. Had a really good experience. But every day every month on the 25th, I still get a little like, where's my student loan payment going this way? Yeah. And even though it's been paid off for many years now,
the 25th.
Anxiety in your mind.
I think that's one of the great things about the IU Northwest program is that we're here, we're in the community. Yes. Our program is designed for adult learners. Yeah. And we are really focused on making sure our students get through the program and get through it in such a way that works for their lives.
Yeah.
So. We're affordable.
Yes, you are.
And we're nearby.
Yes, you are.
Easy access.
Absolutely.
We have plenty of programs on the IUN campus. We have a very active student social work association.
Oh my God, you do. Yeah, I see you all everywhere.
Thank you. Yeah. We are everywhere. We work with the veterans. We also do the local shelters here. Yes. We do reading in the schools as well. So if you want to come into the campus and get involved, we have young people who are very involved who have social media campaigns going on. Yeah. So we have a place for every person that's interested in social work. I want everybody to contact us to come. We have classes start July 7th for our summer session. Yeah. We also have classes starting on August 25th for our fall session. We have an intro to social work classes that introduces a lot of different positions and areas to students who they never thought about, like the policy that we're speaking of. Yes. We have a diversity class that teaches you how to work with different populations and different groups of people and what that looks like when you're in social work. So we have a lot of classes designed to teach you how to do the work, group classes as well. So we want individuals who want to have some fun. Yeah. Because you're going to have some fun.
We're going to have some fun.
But you're also going to learn a lot. Yeah. I'm going to make sure that when that student leaves, parents, hear me, when the student leaves, they're going to be competent. They're going to be confident. They're going to be ethical social workers. Yeah. And they're going to provide the resources that the community needs. And they're going to stay in our community because that's what we need. And we need them to come back. Advanced standing requires a bachelor's degree, but advanced standing means you take 2 years off of your program to get a master's degree.
Wow.
So for all those bachelor level students who didn't come back to our program, come back now. It's a great time. We've made changes for that program as well. So we have a lot of changes that are occurring that's working, and we have a lot of great agencies that we partner with who want our students. We get calls all the time.
I believe it.
To ask for our students to come in to intern.
I believe it. I believe it. You two ladies are great ambassadors. I'm serious. I'm all ginned up for social work right now. I'm absolutely. You all are doing a great job. I want to thank you all once again. If you don't mind, for parents and scholars who have just walked across the stage and they're in that little limbo area and they might be tuning into this crazy show and they're listening and they say, you know what, I just heard something that inspired me. What are hours of operation so maybe they can call, get some inquiries, or obviously go to the website, give some of that information if you don't mind before we let you go.
Absolutely.
So just to mention, our MSW application does close on July 15th.
Okay.
So if you're interested in
Time
starting
is
your
of the
MS
essence.
program, yeah, especially if you're that new grad who wants to do something, take that next step, not quite sure what to do.
Yeah.
Social work opens up so many doors. So yeah, that's due on July 15th.
And the waiver.
And the waiver.
The application waiver.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
If you
application
contact-
fee.
Fee is
Yes.
being waived. Yes.
So
That's
I'm
always
just
good.
Yes.
gonna give you the phone number is 219
Yeah.
980
Yeah.
6614. If you call that number, you'll connect with one of us and we'll make sure that we get you where you need to be. You can also go to the Indiana University School of Social Work website.
Yeah. Look at you, though. You got your own
Just
little
Google it.
website.
Yeah.
We will meet with you in person
Yeah.
or via Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever works for that person that needs
Phone
to meet,
calls,
we
yeah.
will make it work. We'll make it happen by any means necessary.
I know you, Ola. I see it in your eyes. You're going to make it happen, aren't you?
Yes,
You
make it
follow
happen.
students around here.
I will go to
see
class
it in
and
you.
find it.
I know you do. I see it in you. All right. Okay. I want to thank you, ladies. Go ahead. You got one more thing you want to say? Or you're good.
Oh no, she just asked me to
Okay, I do. I really did enjoy this. I think you all
Thank
are
you so much.
absolutely bring so much awareness to something that all of us, as I said, every one of us, I believe, intersect with social work at some point in our lives. And so in order to make sure that going forward we have competent, qualified, licensed people available, you got to go out here and support these departments. And if you got scholars in your life that are looking to do something impactful in their lives, I would encourage them to go check this out, because I think you all made a great case today. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
It's a
you so
wonderful
much.
Thank you
Wednesday.
so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you
So go
very
out and
much.
stay hydrated. And well, I won't tell anybody I saw you in case you want to play hickey today. I know it's going to be in the 90s. I won't say that you were here. No, I'll act like you told me you were going to work. You wink, wink, nod, nod. Go where you're going. All right. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to look outside at that weather and traffic. Then get you updated with some of the news that was taking place since we last spoke. And then, of course, before we get out of here, phone calls. You listen to Wake Up GI with Jeffrey Smith right here, 88.7 FM, WGVE.
You're listening to the new #1 morning show in Northwest Indiana. It's Wake Up GI with Jeffrey Smith. Back in a moment.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, you all are doing some stuff. I tell you, so a lot of people don't have those conversations about